Welcome again, guys, to another video. And this video today is one of the most requested videos that I got. I just really didn't have the time for it, and honestly, well, this video today, if you want to know how I build my Cleric, or what's my build and what's my reason for the build, that's what we're going to be tackling today. And with that, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this. Let's go. Okay, so here we go. First of all, we are going to start, of course, with my equipment build. Okay. A lot of people have different builds on Cleric, but in essence, your equipment is crucial. It's very important for PvP and PvE. Okay. Now, this build, just a disclaimer for everyone, I'm not encouraging everyone to follow my build because my build works for me. Okay. It really, it all boils down to what your gameplay is, and it all boils down to how you play your Cleric and how strong you can play it, and how tanky you are, because Clerics, of course, are supposed to be the tanks of the game. Okay, so here we go. So my main build for my Cleric here is for the equipments. I have a different stat on it, and a different set of stat for the equipments, and a different set of stat for my accessories. You see, unlike other jobs wherein you can focus mainly more in two stats or one stat, so the same stat for accessory and the same stat for the equipments, I wanted to focus more on two, okay? Because I want to make sure, as I've told you if you watch my previous videos, I want to make sure that I'm as tanky as possible, because I'm the tank. And of course, I dish out, a moderate amount of damage, okay? Maybe not as high as a Slayer's damage or an Archer's damage, but, moderate amount, okay? So with this, you can see all my accessories here are already on Ancient Warrior, and I have them built on Will, okay? I think some of you already know this. So these accessories are built on Will. Ancient Warrior Legendary accessories have actually more than 4+ on the basic abilities, as you can see. Increase over spirit attacks, enhancement, etc. And basically it's all Will accessories, you see. So I built this on Will because Will basically affects the percentage of your HP. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? So the more Will you have, okay, so it affects your max HP and PvP HP. So that's the reason why I picked Will, okay? So all these accessories are on Will, and as you can see, I was able to trigger the set bonus for accessories, okay, based on Will. So I've got the set bonus increased also for the accessories. Now, for my gears are very hard to, it's very hard to complete the set of my gears because it's already an ancient, okay? I was planning to complete this, but maybe not anytime soon because Velskad is, there's just too many things going on in my life right now. So anyway, my gear is more focused on penetration, as you can see. Ancient Warrior Mace. I actually crafted this mace twice because the first time I crafted it, I got a critical, Ancient Warrior Mace of critical. So I needed a penetration. So this wand also is on penetration, okay? And the helmet is also on penetration. And the body, I haven't had the time to perfect this yet, because this is my first craft of the ancient body, which I got for health and then critical damage. Obviously, this was my first craft also of the shoe. So if I were to completely build my equipments though, I'd have them on penetration, all of them on penetration. So it's penetration and Will is my build. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at my stats here, okay? So my stats, as you can see, critical and critical damage is not that high. I've seen a lot of characters who have more than 10,000 or 15,000 critical damage. Crit resist is, I need crit resist, so I have that. I mainly focus, as what you can see, mainly focus on penetration, okay? Reduce damage taken, and of course my health. Increase PvP health by 80%. Look at that, it's because of my will, okay? Now, I want to explain to you a little bit why I chose penetration over critical damage, because most people are confused about what penetration does and critical damage. You see, for us clerics specifically, and I've had a lot of information about this over the web. Penetration actually increases my roll skill capability. Now, what roll skill is that? If you've been watching my videos, you know that I teach clerics that you live and die by your roll skills, right? Divine Punishment here is one of the main roll skills of a cleric, okay? It basically reflects the damage to 8.20% of max HP based on my max HP for 15 seconds, okay? And add some crit resist, less crit resist to the people around me, okay? So basically, what it does is that the reason why I had it on penetration is it actually affects my reflect damage, okay? Because here's a simple explanation of it, okay? If you're the one hitting your target, then you would need critical and critical damage, critical percentage and critical damage. Now, however, okay, if you're only triggering a reflect, penetration would be more powerful for you, okay? Because penetration essentially it's a percentage of the damage reflected, okay? So penetration is there. I have a little critical, but more on critical damage, and that's basically, it's very hard to explain, sorry. I'm lost for words. That's the reason why I chose to have penetration over critical damage, because I'm not dependent on the damage of my skills, okay? I am not, again, let me repeat this. I am not dependent on the damage of my skills, but I am dependent on the damage of my roll skill, which is reflect damage, which actually gets, because reflect damage, critical damage does not apply to reflect damage because it's only based on my HP. It does not crit, if you know what I mean. So I guess that's the shorter explanation. My reflect damage does not crit, it only penetrates. So instead of doing critical damage, it only penetrates, and it's based on a percentage of my HP. Well, that's my explanation, okay? But you can build whatever you want to build with your cleric. But this is my current build right now. Now let's go to the skill build. My skill build. I'm gonna post a link below in the description on what my PvE and PvP skill build is. I've already run through this already. So my skill build for active maze is Divine Breaker, Holy Impact, and Holy Cross. So that's 1, 2, 3 combo. And my chain skill build is Divine Crash, Justice Crash, and Judgment Hammer, especially for PvP. It's very useful. The ultimate I use is Divine Avatar, and I explained this already for PvP, and I explained this in my other video why I chose Divine Avatar, because although the damage is less, the damage actually inflicts faster than Thor's hammer, and you're not vulnerable for people whacking at your face, okay? So for my active skill for wand, it's Lightning Relic, Lightning Bolt, and Holy Burst. So if you watch my PvE skill build also, I explained already why I picked Lightning Relic over Holy Bolt, because I switched to wand every time I turn defensive, okay? I switched to wand. That's why I need the Lightning Relic, because normally once it's there, it gives me super armor if I'm on defense mode. And I'll put a link in the description below so that you can see, okay? And of course, the chain skills, I do the last 3. I was lucky enough to get a seal here for Grand Cross, Chain Lightning, and Electric Detonation. As you can see, my skills are not that high yet because I barely have time to go through the dungeons of the skills. Honestly, I'm lazy. It bores me to go through the dungeons. Okay, so I'm trying to catch up anyway. Okay, and my ultimate for wand, of course, is Magic Relic. It's for obvious reasons. You could easily drop it instead of flying in the air and acting like you're a superstar. So you could easily drop it, and then boom, you could just go run away or something. Okay. For my roll skill, if you watch my previous video, you know that I use attack roll skills if I'm on PvP and defensive roll skills if I'm on PvE. So my attack roll skills, of course, for PvP is Divine Punishment, Aura Restoration, and Immortality. I do not use this Holy Bless thing. I don't think it's useful, okay? I think Aura of Restoration is more useful than Holy Bless because, it heals me if I run away, okay? And Holy Bless just, stun resist. It doesn't have to do anything with your health. Immortality has something to do with your health. Divine Punishment is my bread and butter, okay? Let's go to the passive. My passive is Judgment's Power. Judge's Power, increased critical for a duration when they're airborne. And the reason of which is because, remember, I didn't build him on critical on my equipment. So, I wanted to get Judgment's Power instead of Divine Ascension, which is just counterattack, which will be triggered less in PvP, okay? And of course, Miracle Time and Prayer. I am using Prayer for Silent Resist, however, this is a level 70 skill. For PvE, I switch over to 1. Now for PvE, I switch over to the defensive role, I chose Block, okay, Immortality Bless, and Holy Grace. I don't use First Aid because I hate it when people whack at me before I can heal. And besides, the percentage of First Aid, it's just 2,800. If the monster damages me for like 5 or 10,000, then that's still a friggin' negative, right? So I just use Block, Auto Block, that whatever damage that comes in, it blocks it for 10.5 seconds. And of course, Holy Grace. For my passive, I've got Auto Block, Miracle Healing, and Electric Shield Reduction on melee range damage for PvE. Okay, so let's go to Spirit, and my Spirit still sucks right now. Oops, pardon the word, YouTube. I have level 7 Hagen, Akasha. I haven't really touched Vayne yet. I did, as what I told you, I'm lazy. I'm lazy with this thing, okay? So I haven't touched Vayne yet. I read Vayne before. I'm not that attracted to what Vayne gives me. It's critical and critical shock resist. I don't really use critical, as what I mentioned to you. I use more penetration and will. So Akasha, I think, is best for me because it gives me all this resist, silence, shock. When people start whacking at me, I could still trigger my divine, what is that? My divine, what's that? Divine punishment, because Akasha gave me a resist on slow, stun, etc. So it makes, Akasha makes more sense to me. Why not Hagen? Why not increase your attack? Again, I'm not dependent on my skills damage, although I can dish out a ton of damage because of my combat power, but I'm not dependent on them. I'm more dependent on my build for, my spirit is more dependent on Akasha. And besides, Akasha gives me, not only that, he also gives me some basic abilities to increase my critical damage, so that although I'm not dependent on my skill, if I do get a crit, the critical damage is a little bit higher. Akasha can give me a little bit higher on critical damage, okay? So let's go to my enhance. As you can see, all 70. Nothing to enhance there. Now let's go to Dragon Jade. For growth, I've had, I've equipped mostly Ancient Jade. All of this is Ancient Jade, okay? All of this. So I haven't had a time to grind these Jades yet. Honestly, again, Haven't had the time. My awakening, here's my awakening now. This is the updated one, okay? I've had, if you, I'll put a link also on, if you want to watch my video on my awakening guide, it's pretty good. You know, I've got a lot of good comments about that. My awakening right now, I have Cram's Manticore. I have both Manticore, Attacker Manticore and Cram Manticore. If you want to watch my video about this guide, why I chose this, you know, you can check it on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, okay? My mount, level 45 dragon. I didn't really care about all the other mounts. I just want the dragon. I wanted this Mudos, but you know, dragon is more cool. That's the only reason. So my pet is Crown Corgi. I still don't, can you believe it? I still don't have that epic cat, and it's part of my collection. I still don't have the epic cat. Maybe, you know, one of these days I'm gonna ask my guildmates to help me with that. And what else? Production, skill build. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, and you know, I think that's pretty much covered everything there. So you see all my stats, you see my CP, you see everything. What's underneath me, what's not underneath me, okay? And that's basically it. All in all, in generalization, the clerics, this cleric in particular, is not built to, you know, I'm not dependent on the skills, okay? I'm more dependent on my roll damage, especially for PvP. Now, the only time I'll be dependent on my skills for damage is basically when trying to get the aggro from a monster on PvE, okay? I hope this guide has helped you. I know we've got a lot of people there, a lot of fellow clerics, and I hope this guide has helped you and somehow, you know, make you, you know, just do your own thing. You know, that's the beauty about this game, because you can do your own thing. You don't have to follow what other people will tell you, right? Okay. Anyway, I think I'm talking too much, and that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you insight. I'll see you guys on the next video. Ciao, everybody. Bye-bye.